Good morning and welcome back. It is a beautiful June 8th morning out here, already pretty windy. Weather forecast for this week is not looking great for spraying, with rain in the forecast for pretty much every day for the next week, except for today. And with the wind today, don't think there's going to be a whole lot getting done this week, but hopefully that will prove me wrong, because we certainly need to get some acres knocked off this week. Let's take a look and see what's going on. Canola fields are showing much better germination on dry land compared to last week and certainly the week before. You can see we got this older canola that has been up for a couple weeks now, and there is lots and lots of new emergence and cotyledon just coming out of the ground in many places here. So should have pretty good stand, in spots like this. We can actually now start to see some of the rows forming, but a lot of it is very small canola that's only just really starting to emerge. So hopefully a couple more days we're going to look pretty good in here, but we also need to get in here and start doing some in-crop weed control. Cereal crops, of course, are starting to grow like mad. A lot of these barley fields now are hitting stem elongation. A lot have not been sprayed yet, but a lot of that is just because they were so clean earlier in the season. Now we're seeing a lot more weed emergence here, you can see. So we're going to have to get in here, start getting rid of some of this kochia. We're still in herbicide timing for most of this barley, but with some active ingredients like Tylenol, the timing is getting short. Once we're into stem elongation, we got to get after it, or it's going to be too late pretty quick. Nice to finally see some water in some of these prairie sloughs that have been dry for the last couple of years. Ducks are certainly happy about it anyways. Well, I just replaced a sticky trap in the bug trap for the first time this season. As you can see, it has caught an impressive variety of flies on here. I don't really see anything that I would consider a pest species at this point. These are all mostly just common flies, or there's some stable flies in there. Maybe a few different dung flies. I think this one would be a pollinator fly, so that would technically be a beneficial, but anyways, just slapped a brand new one in here, so we should be good to go for a little while longer. Here we have an interesting spot to show in a field. As you can see on the left here, this is yellow peas on the headlands and dry corners, and here on the irrigation pivot we have corn. So this received Voraxor Complete as a pre-burn, and this received Authority Supreme, and both of them showing very good effectiveness on kochia. You'll see right here in front of me we have kochia right alongside the dividing line in between, because the sprayer doing pre-burn wasn't quite sure where the line was going to be. So there's a little bit of wobbliness to our line here, and you can see we do have kochia kind of coming into the field here a little bit. But then after that, where the Voraxor Complete takes over, you can see we have basically almost nothing for kochia. There is some starting to come up here and there, but most of it is pretty small. So I would say both chemicals really showing their effectiveness pretty strongly this year. Here we can start to see some of the results of last week's puddling. You can see this low spot in this pea field here. These peas are pretty severely banged up. There was definitely water sitting here for a couple days. Now, one of the things I can do is, because we've been so dry last couple of years, there's been a tendency for groundwater to bring the salts up to the surface to percolate them up. So there actually was a little bit of white soil here. And what's probably happened now is that moisture has moved that right off that surface layer down into the root zone. So that is probably also having an effect on these guys. But I mean, like, you can see that newer top growth is pretty well damaged. Actually starting to get crispy in a few cases. Not looking all that great, but we are still alive. So these probably will pull through it, but they're definitely going to be delayed and stunted, and I wouldn't expect a whole lot out of an area like this. Here's another really good accidental small plot trial I found on this field. I would call this one, how much canola seed do you need to put down to overcome severe crusting issues? So this ground is severely eroded and crusted, and there's very poor emergence. Hard as a rock out here. But over here you can see just that mass volume of canola seed. It is actually physically lifting the crust up and displacing it. So definitely has an effect when you're seeding probably, this would be the equivalent of a couple 100 pounds per acre of canola seed. Definitely is capable of enough hydraulic force to break through a crust like that. Well, Tuesday morning, beautiful morning out here, very little wind, so perfect chance to get my trials sprayed, and hopefully they'll get herbicide here later today before the weather closes in on us. So got all the water here and the products to see if I can get through all these products in one go without screwing it up. So first off, in the category of straight biostimulants, we have Nature's Aid Super Crop And we have Megafol from Syngenta. So this is a humic and a seaweed. This is an amino acid. And then we also have straight gibberellic acid. This is New Farms ProLiant, so that's the only dry product that we're using. Then in kind of more mixed category of biological stimulants plus a fertilizer, we've got Yara Optitrax. I kind of put it by itself. It's mostly a biostimulant with a little bit of fertilizer. Then we got all these products that are mostly fertilizers with some cytokinins and stuff in there. So from Alpine, we have F18 Max. From Corteva, we're doing Golden Harvest plus Fortified Stimulate. Those are both going on at herbicide timing. From ATP, we have ATP Relief Cereals. From Taurus, we have the Active Build program is going on right now. And then in the category of foliar fertilizers only, from Earthstrong Canada here, we have Foundation, Ironman, and Harbor S. So these are all going to be going on here today. Well, there we go. All of our plots are applied. Things are looking pretty good in a perfect world. Hopefully this will be getting herbicide here later today. And then there's a good possibility of some showers tonight. So that should do a good job and allow it to soak in and let the plants utilize it. Hopefully in a week or two, we'll start to see some results. Well, here in this patch of barley, we do have a pretty good quack grass problem. So here's a patch I dug up already here. So you can see best way to identify quack grass, dig it up, look for those underground rhizomes. You can see that nice distinctive yellow rhizome there. Here's, some more. You can kind of see that sharp point that it uses to spread by. Of course, quack grass is not an annual grass, it is a perennial grass. So it's really hard to control with any sort of graminicide or any chemical that you would typically target wild oats with. You're much better off to treat a patch of quack grass like this like you would Canada thistle and try to target it in the fall and thin the stand out with glyphosate for your best results. Wednesday morning here, definitely a little bit of rain overnight. In my gauge here at about 7 mils. So, somewhere around roughly a quarter of an inch so far. So looks like it's going to be another muddy day. Here we have an interesting headland along the side of this canola field. You can see we have very, very poor stand, or basically almost non-existent. There is a couple plants here and there trying to come out and kind of struggling a bit. And this is basically due to really heavy manure application right along here on the headland. It tapers off quite quickly, but you can see there is a little bit of nutrient leaching, probably causing it to move a little bit farther out into the field. But this manure is just so thick, it's so hot that the seedling canola just can't quite take it. Most of the field is perfectly fine, but this area seems to be a little on the heavy side for sure. And you can really see that transition right here at the edge of the field, where that manure application basically stops. And we've got really nice thick canola right here, right along the edge. But then as soon as that manure picks up, it dies off. If this was an insect problem coming from the field over here on the other side of the railroad tracks, we wouldn't see this nice strip here. And while there is some flea beetle feeding in here, very little really, certainly nothing severe enough to take off crop like that. Same thing with cutworms. We probably would not see a nice straight line like that. Usually you'd see more of an oblong patch. So in this case, I'm pretty confident in saying this is all basically nutrient and manure caused. You can even see lots of that purpling and that stress on some of these canolas that are trying to emerge. Out here by Welling today, taking a look at a canola field that's got some very wet conditions in here. You can see we still have some puddling in here from some of the rain yesterday and the week before. So we have some very mottled canola in here. We have really good emergence in some areas. Other areas like this, we had some lumpier soil conditions, poor soil to seed contact, and delayed emergence because of that. But now the canola is there, but it's not looking so hot. You can see we do have lots of purpling on the leaves, a little bit of flea beetle feeding, but nothing to be concerned about. But this is all caused by saturated soil conditions, which is causing nutrient issues, probably in phosphate. It's limiting phosphate uptake to the plant. The plants are very stressed because of those moisture conditions in that saturated root zone. So we just need to get this field to dry down a little bit, get some warmth and some heat, and she'll look good in no time. Well, here's a different canola field, same kind of area. We're actually up on a hilltop, and the ground here is just absolutely sodden. We're definitely at or above field capacity. You can see a lot of these leaves purpling and stress. Once again, I think that's nutrient and water-based damage and stress. Some of the low areas of the field, like over there, are just downright underwater. So definitely some significant stress in this area in many of these crops today. Well, just in case we weren't already wet enough, we've got a storm moving in from the west, got some lightning and thunder coming in from that direction, so hopefully it takes it easy on us. Well, I did wash the truck last night, so of course it has decided to pretty much rain all night again. So we've had, some light on and off sprinkling rain interspersed with some heavy downpours. And since last night, I believe this area has mostly gotten about 3/8 to half an inch. So definitely some nice wet conditions again this morning. Well, with all this moisture and cool temperatures, disease is certainly developing pretty rapidly in a lot of cereal crops. So this is a relatively young barley field here. We're still well into herbicide time, and herbicide has not been sprayed in here yet. But you can see we do have lots of different diseases going on in here, actually. The main one being scald as well as net blotch. So you can see right here, these lesions, I'll zoom in on that there. So when you can see that light area surrounded by the dark halo, that is generally going to be scald. When it gets bigger, it'll look like a cigarette's been put out on the leaf kind of thing. Other than that, most of what you're seeing in here is spot and net blotch. Basically the same pathogen, but does present slightly different symptoms. But there's quite a lot of it throughout these plants here. So at this stage, we can just throw a fungicide in with the herbicide whenever we can get into this field when it dries out enough. I'm not going to name any particular products or brands. Pretty much all brands have their own products. There's a pile of different options out there. Which one you choose is going to be due in a large part to which rep you like the best and which programming you have. So let's get to it. Well, I think that's going to be it for this week. Hopefully we get some warmer conditions here over the weekend and we start to dry things out a bit. I think when we do get some warmer weather, the crop is just absolutely going to explode. And we might not be ready for it considering how much herbicide we still have to put down, but we will take that as it comes, and we'll see you next week.